Good morning, everybody. Okay, today we're going to, we're still in Unit 1. We're going to do listening to today. It's about sports psychology. You already watched the video and did the activities, right? So today we're going to do a review of that, and you guys can ask me questions about the material, things you still are confused about. Also, it would be great if you can just answer freely to questions that I'm asking, and you can use the annotation. If you look at your Zoom, there is the option to annotate. Now you can use that for the questions or the activities that have ticks. You can do the option of a tick. Yeah. There's several options, and if you are, if you want to answer, you can type. So just choose the T for type for text, and you can type in the answer. Okay, that would be great because then everybody can see it. Awesome. Now, if for example nobody answers, I will just come up with a name and ask you the answer. Please do answer when I mention your name. Even if you have a problem answering, it's either because you don't understand it yet, or because it's difficult, or you just didn't know that particular number. Still say something, still respond to me, but just explain why you can't answer. That's totally fine. Also, you're not expected to be able to answer everything, right? This is just a practice. So even if you answer wrong, there's no problem. The point is to learn and to practice. So, okay, cool. So, test of endurance. We're gonna skip to page 10 for listening to. Okay, here we are. Sports psychology. You see 3 beautiful pictures here of different types of sports. Yeah. And you were to read the conversation and notice the bold-faced words, which are the vocabulary words for this particular part of this unit now. So we have goal, achieve, motivation, opponent, and challenge, yeah? Okay, so who of you would like to try this out? How is number 1 related? What is the correct definition for goal?
Goal, it's D, something you plan to do in the future.
Yeah, can you write the D down? Type it in. Do you know how to do that?
You mean from my computer?
Yeah, just from the Zoom options, go to annotate, where you see this pencil.
Wait.
And then you can type in the letter.
I don't think I'm capable of doing that, miss.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Okay, you guys can figure that one out. When you have time, you just go look around in the Zoom options you've got. Okay, I'll do it for you. So let me see. Okay, let me not make that bold. Okay, there we go. Oh, wrong. So there's just this option of that you can annotate, and then when you look at annotating, you have like this whole selection of things that you can take for draw, to stamp, to spotlight, to text. And you would choose the T for text. Okay, thank you. That's a good answer. So goal is something you plan to do in the future. Okay, thank you, Ivana. Who can go next? Number 2, achieve. What's that?
B, miss.
Yo, Joyce, let's go.
Should I annotate it?
Yeah, it would be great.
Okay.
You can also, if you can, please read it out loud.
Okay, B, to succeed in getting a good result.
Yeah, correct. Where's, oh yeah, cool. Hey, there you are. Good. Thanks. Okay, number 3, motivation. Who would like to try that one?
E.
Okay. Can you write that one down?
The desire to do something, E.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you. Can you type it in? Or are you confused with that?
I'm confused.
Okay, no worries. Okay, let me try it. I'll do it for you. Yeah, so E is definitely the correct answer. We go, see, we all put them in a different spot. It doesn't matter. For opponent, who would like to try that one? What's opponent?
C.
Awesome. Yeah. Can you type that in?
I don't know how to.
Okay, no worries. Okay. Okay, let's see. That's correct. What about challenge?
A.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, it's just nice if we type it in, even though it's, look at this. This is not even a straight line. The point is that you guys see it. And for those who have a trouble hearing it, then at least you see what the correct answer is. Please check your own answers, whether that was the same or not. And if you have a question, ask, yeah, like, how come you misunderstood? Any questions so far? We're good with the words? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes? Dima?
No, nothing.
No. Okay, cool. Then we're going to continue. Okay, let me erase this one first so we can continue. We're going to go to the comprehension. So since this is listening, all it is focused on is on you practicing, you know, like listening to something, either a dialogue or a like a short talk, a conversation, or a speech, or an interview, whatever the type of audio you're listening to, and learning to focus on keywords. So that's why the part of annotating is super important for you guys, to always annotate the instructions and also the questions and the answer choices in the case of a multiple choice. And then from there, having those keywords in mind, it is easier for you to listen. So you kind of listen and you look at the keywords. Otherwise, you would have to listen and read the question and read the answer choices and then answer at the same time. That's just a bit too much. So it's very important that before you listen, you annotate first. Yeah, and for the comprehension in this case, what was the correct phrase to complete the statement? So these are just sentences, statements. Now you would have to know which one is the correct one. Okay, we go to number 1. Who'd like to try? Okay, let me ask. I'd like to ask Joshua. Joshua, you're here? Joshua? Joshua? No? Okay, let me ask Grace. Grace? Am I looking at the correct ones? Yeah. Grace? Okay, guys, in case you don't answer, I will write down your names, yeah? In the sense that you didn't respond, so then you're kind of not here. Kind of. Okay, we continue. I'd like to hear from Abraham. Theo, do I call you Theo? Do I call you Abraham? Or how do I call you? Abraham? Theo?
Yeah, miss.
Hi, do I call you Abraham? Do I call you Theodore? Theo, what are you called? Theo, okay, cool. Hope I remember. If I forget, you just remind me. Say, Miss Sylvie, it's Theo. Okay, cool. Theo, I'd like you to try number 1.
A.
Okay, endurance athletes are often. It is B. The answer is B. Basically. Yeah, so basically they are high achievers if you would have listened to it. No worries. Thank you very much for answering. Remember to do the activities in your textbook, yeah? And please check right now, like, how many mistakes do you have? How come you couldn't answer correctly? Just for yourself, a reflection to know what we need to improve, yeah? So the answer is B, yeah? This is all based on the audio that you've listened to, which I'm not gonna play now, which you could listen to while watching the video and could go back all the time. Also, just a hint for yourself, all the listening sections, the audio, the excerpts, are all printed out in your textbook at the back of your textbook. So you basically, if it is hard for you, you could read along while listening. Yeah. Okay, now we go to the next one. Number 2, would like to try that one.
It's C.
Awesome. Can you type that in or not?
I don't know how to do it.
Okay, guys, try to figure that one out. Yeah, it's nice if you can. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's C. So they focus on achieving personal goals, not winning the race. Okay, number 3. What about it?
C.
Okay, thank you, Shelny. 3 is C, correct. Yeah. They choose goals that are a difficult challenge. What about 4? Someone else? Shannon. Shannon, are you here?
Yes.
Can you answer number 4?
C, partners in experience.
Yep. So they usually feel the other athletes are partners in experience. So they're not so much as into that as a rival, yeah, a rivalry or something like that. Okay, endurance athletes are also motivated by someone else?
A.
Awesome. Natalia. I would call it Natalie. A very nice name. A, yes. The strong emotions they feel while racing. So these are the answers, yeah. So please check it, guys. These are 5 questions. Like, how many mistakes do you have? Like, it's going to be like 2, 3, 4, 5 that will show if you have, for example, 1 or 2 mistakes could be misheard. Maybe you misheard it. If you have more than 2 mistakes, it's probably that your focus was wrong, which means that you've got to go back to better annotating. So make sure that every time before you do an audio, you always underline, circle, highlight, whatever works for you. Do that for every keyword. So once you're listening, you have a focus what to listen for. Yeah. And even you will see also that a lot of the words are paraphrased. So they use different words, so synonyms, but the meaning is the same. So you're not only listening for the exact same keyword, but you're kind of listening for the same or similar meaning. Yeah. Any questions? We're good? Awesome. Okay, then we go to the next part, which was yeah, the listening skill, focusing on listening. Now that's basically also another part which is important besides the keyword is a signal word. Signal words can also be keywords, and they definitely tell us what to expect next. Okay, it shows us whether there is a contrast coming up, whether there is an addition of ideas coming up, whether it's heading to the end of the talk, whether it's the beginning of the talk. It shows us when something important comes up, it's more emphasized. It gives us an idea of chronology, introduction, and so on. So signal words are definitely the words that you want to listen for. And here we have an example of there are a couple of points. So here the professor said, well, looking at the research, there are a couple of points that seem especially important. So looking at the phrase of there are a couple of points shows that he is going to mention several points. So From there, we know that we want to listen for those points. We want to understand and hear those points. Yeah? So that is a signal word, a signal phrase, which is very helpful. Now, you had to do several by yourself, or let's see, what about number 1? What signal words does the speaker use to circle the correct answer? To introduce point number 1, the personality of endurance athletes. What was the signal word or phrase used? Who can answer that one?
B.
Yeah, B, one of these. Was it hard for you to hear that or not?
Not really.
Not really. Oh, that's cool. So that's really, really cool. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, number 2. Who would like to try number 2? To introduce a contrast means the opposite, okay? The opposite of something. Focus on winning your race versus focus on personal goals. Which one is that? Shoot, guys.
D.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. Dustin, yeah. I call you Dustin, right? Not Ian, right? Yeah.
My name is Ian.
Oh, Ian.
Yeah.
I never know what to focus on because you guys have beautiful long names, and then some of you want the third name emphasized. The others want the first. The other one's the second. Okay, Ian, what did you say?
D instead.
Awesome. Yes. Instead definitely shows a contrast. Yeah. One of these shows a particular point. Awesome. Okay, we go to number 3. To introduce point number 2, the relationship between athletes. We'd like to try that one. I need to scroll that. Okay, let me scroll.
Is it A?
Yeah, correct. It is A. See, I can't scroll. This is so weird. Okay, I'm learning to use this. Yeah, it's A. It's another. So like when you have points, you have several points you want to say. You can go numeric. You can say like first. So those are sequence words. Yeah, you can say like first, second, third, or first, then after that, following that. So those are sequence words. So another would also be good because you could say like another point is, which just shows the next that's coming up. Okay, great. Now let's go to number 4. Last one. Who'd like to try that one? To introduce a result. Result is different. Karina?
D.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. So definitely shows a result. So here you can see that these are signal words at the same time. Many of these are also kind of transition words. We call them transition words that transit from one to another. Basically, that help us transit from one idea to another, from one point to another, or they help us transit from mentioning something and adding another point, or from mentioning a pro to a con, which would show a contrast. It helps us to go to a next point. So, and in this case, they signal a change or an addition. So we can also call them signal words when it comes to speaking. Any questions? No. Awesome. Now, that brings us to the point of connecting the listening. Now, a very important part of this is like, why do you do that? Why do we have to connect, like the audio to listening sections? Well, that is where you get, are you guys familiar with it's something I heard a lot of teachers mention about higher order thinking skills? Those are the ones that you have to use inference. Those are the kind of questions that you would have to learn to understand and see the underlying meaning, which we can also call implied meaning. So not necessarily things that we can just read in the text and they're out there. You gotta dig a little bit deeper in order to see what it's saying. So you can also mention that as reading between the lines. So when we're doing connecting the listenings, what we're doing actually is we're making inferences, and we're doing a skill which is called synthesizing. Now, synthesizing in a language is super important because you will be using that when you write essays. You have to use that when you do any presentation. And it brings us to the point of gathering information from multiple sources, getting input, information, content, facts, evidence, whatsoever from different sources, not just from your beautiful brain or from your experience, and not just from one person who wrote it or said it, but from several sources. Then once you get all that information, what are we going to do with that? Then you're going to use all that information into a new setting. So that could be you write an essay on it, or you write a research report on it, or you make a role play out of it, you write a summary out of it, you do a talk about it, whatever you create. So the point of synthesizing is using several sources, gathering all that information together, and then using that information to create something new. Now, when you do that, you can't just copy paste, right? So you got to use paraphrasing. So you got to use different wording, different words, a lot of synonyms, and different grammatical structure in order to create something new. That is what you will keep doing all the time. You will do that for listening and speaking. You will do that for reading and writing. And that is good because it teaches you making inferences, and it teaches you how to synthesize, which is necessary for your speaking and writing. Now, brings us back to this point. You had listening 1, which was about an ultra runner, Jay Bashan, and we had listening 2, which was about sports psychology. And you had information on both. Now, here at the left column, by the way, this is called a table, can also be referred to as a graphic organizer, which we have many different kinds. We have tables, we have pyramids, we have flowcharts, we have Venn diagrams, you have a lot of different types. You were supposed to find the information and write the examples from listening 1 that support the ideas on listening 2. But you're lucky because the points are given already in a form of a sentence. So what are some of the challenges that Jay Badgen faced? So you got to here write an example, which is in line with listening 2. They are connected in their general topic. Who would like to try out number 1? No one? Confused? Okay, let me try for you. Let me see. Okay, look at that one. So basically, some of the challenges that Jay Badgen faced, what we can read and see are what we heard, but basically in listening 1 were the heat, the winds, sandstorms, cold temperatures at night. Now, if you look at these examples of listening 1 and then look at listening 2, here it says, as a group, these people tend to be high achievers. They like difficult challenges and they aren't happy with goals that are easy to achieve. Now, who of you can tell me how this part is correlated with this part? How are 1 and 2 related or connected? Who can tell me? Can I ask Ivana? Ivana,
Yeah.
hi, good morning. Could you tell me how number 1, the first one, from listening 1, how these facts, these examples are related with the points that are mentioned in listening 2?
I think as a group of these people, I think group of these people itu group of these people is like the runners for the for the ultra runner, and then the heat, wind, sandstorms, and cold temperatures is like the difficult challenges they have to face.
Yes.
And I mean, it's one of the goal as a runner to like get through all that.
Yeah, awesome. That's good. Yeah, so it is definitely related, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, good, thank you. So basically here we come up with more details. These are like more the details, and this is more like the general statement, or like more like a main idea then, yeah? But they're definitely related, and actually what you said, what is correct, is that the difficult challenges are the ones that are mentioned here. Very good. Okay, number 2. What are Jay Bashan's personal goals? Now let's look here at the second box. And when setting goals, most endurance athletes do not focus on winning the race. Instead, they have personal goals like maybe just finishing the race is enough or finishing with a better time than before. Now, the question here is, what are Jay Bashan's personal goals? Who can answer that one?
Can I try it?
Of course.
For him, he just wants to complete the distance that he knows he can do it.
Yes. Very good. Yeah. He just wants to complete a race. Exactly. And another thing could be meeting other people, sharing stories, sharing experiences. Yeah, and completing the distance. He just wants to know how it feels. He wants to just finish it. Awesome. Very good. So, and that is definitely related with this. Yeah, that it's not always about winning. See, athletes don't focus on winning the race. It's more the whole process of it that matters to them. What about number 3? How does Jay Bashan feel about the other athletes in the race? Now let's read this part. In general, endurance athletes do not see the other athletes in the race as opponents or people they're trying to beat. Instead, they see them as partners in this unique adventure, doing something that no one else is doing. Go back to the question. How does Jay Bashan feel about the other athletes in this race, in his race? Who would like to try that one? What about Michael? Michael Ferdinand? Michael, can you try? No, Michael?
Mm. Um,
Does he see the other athletes in the race as opponents, as people, as enemies, as people that he wants to beat? Or does he see them as people he can share something with? No? Anyone else? So basically, he enjoys facing and sharing something challenging with them, and with him it is more based on building a relationship, not so much as having to compete. Yeah, it's not so much about having to compete. It's for him more to build a relationship with the people around him. Awesome. Okay, for the last one to synthesize, so you had to think about the professor of sports psychology would agree with the statements, would he or not? What do you think? So you would have to organize your ideas and looking back at what the information that you got in step 1 in organizing. So number 1, running in a marathon disable was a difficult challenge for Jay Bashan. So do you think the professor of sports psychology would agree with the statement, yes or no? I'd like to hear from Raiden, Nathan, Nathan?
Yes, miss.
Hi, Nathan. Hi. Can you answer number 1? Do you think that the professor would agree with number 1? Yes or no?
Yes.
Can you also tell me why he would agree? That is correct, but why would he? Do you know?
Wait, miss.
Guys, if our meeting gets cut off, because I just got a notification that our meeting only has like 10 minutes left. If it gets cut off, then you'll have to dial in again, okay? What about the first one? So it was a difficult challenge for Jay Batchen, and the professor would agree why. What did the professor say? You have to look at the text above. So you can look here at the text, what we did just now. Step 1, it says it. Look at the first one, the first box. Go up, scroll up here, and go to the first box, number 1. What does it talk about? They like to do what? They like difficult challenges. That's the answer. You look at the first box. Because what you have been organizing, the ideas you came up with in the first part, are correlated to what you answer here. So yes, he would agree. Why? Because endurance athletes look for difficult challenges. That's mentioned in the first box. Let's go to number 2. Jay Batchen was motivated by his relationship with other athletes during the race. Is that correct? Yes or no? Who can answer that one? Yes. Awesome. And can you tell me why?
Because he doesn't think of other opponent as, other racer as like the opponent for the race, but as a friend, I'd say.
Awesome. Yeah, very good. As a friend, as a source of motivation, someone to share something with. Very good. Okay, last one. Jay Batchen was motivated by the personal goal of winning the race. Do you think that the professor would agree with that? Yes or no?
Yes.
And why would that be? Motivated to win.
Yeah, he was like very motivated to like finish the race, and you know.
Okay. Thank you for answering. The answer actually is no. I do get your point, which is cool, and it is true. He was motivated to finish his race, but he was not motivated in the sense that he had to win. Like, I run this race because I have to win. Also, the sports psychologist mentioned that most endurance athletes do not focus on the winning, but are mostly focused on the process. So they want to go through the process. That's what counts. And yeah, they want to finish it because they want to have finished the whole complete process. But the first motivation is never just only to win, to be the winner. Like that. Thank you for your answer and explanation. Awesome. Okay. Are there any questions about this? Because that brings us to the end of listening to. Yeah. The vocabulary, the comprehension. Remember to always annotate. Yeah. Focus on the keywords and key phrases while you're listening. And remember the signal words. The signal words help you in an audio because it helps you direct where to listen, in what direction the listening section goes, what to listen for. Yeah, so signal words are super important. Can give a result, can give an introduction, can give an adding point, show sequence, show contrast, when something ends, when something starts, when there's an important keyword. Yeah, all of that is pointed out. And of course, also for the synthesizing, remember that is important to come up with multiple facts, ideas, and points and sources, and then combine them together to create something new. Is what you did just now. You came up with points and facts from the audio of listening 1 and 2, and then in step 2, synthesizing, you had to answer the questions by using that information. Okay. Any other questions? No? Cool. Okay. Remember that this week's focus, remember always to look, please, always look at your schedule, because your schedule is your lifesaver every week. It helps you to focus on the right thing. So here you can see, as we are in the week of the 10th of August until the 14th, our Zoom meeting, which was about listening to, meaning you will have a post test after this. Your focus this week should be on outlining for your speaking test. So you should make an outline, which is in your log. So you can just open your log and you see your outline there. If you have questions, you can ask me. Your post study will be listening to. So you have to go to ebook, listening and speaking, and then you can do the activities for listening to. There are only 2 activities. There's not always 3, sometimes only 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. And for your pre-study, you will be focusing on watching the video of reading 2 and then do the activities in the textbook for reading and writing. So this is what needs to be done this week. If you haven't done this one yet and this one yet, you should do that fast because you have to keep up. This one should have been done. Pre-study listening 1, pre-study and post-study listening 1, post-study reading 1 should already be done. Yeah, because now you're going to focus on post-study listening 2. So make sure that you follow the schedule. If you follow the schedule, you're cool with your pre-study, you're cool with your study, which is your Zoom meeting, you're cool with your post-study, and you're cool with your projects. You gotta follow the steps, okay? Okay, cool. So right now you're gonna do post-test 1 for listening and speaking. You will have to access the link through your ebook. You go to the ebook of listening and speaking and you access it there. Okay, wait, let me see if I can help you out with that one. Any questions on how to access that?
Miss, I actually have a lot of questions in how to use the TD Smart.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
very convenient.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
really-
Okay. Most of the material that I have uploaded, all the links from the ebooks to the log and the journal, all of that is in material. I think it's written there as materi bahan. So you can, the only thing you can download is the PPT and the PDF that I sent. The rest is all based on links, so you can only open it and then you can download it later on, I think. But for the ebook, you only open the link. Now those are all in materi bahan. Yeah, the only thing that I wrote down, I put into tugas, is the one that has the dates on when to submit your homework. I'm gonna share the screen real quick with you. Here you see the listening and speaking ebook, right? So what you do is you're going to, wait, come on. Oh, a bit too far. You're gonna go to post-test 1. You see here post-test 1, right? That's under the heading of listening to post-test 1. Click it. And it will bring you to your post, as I was saying, so you can access the link and then you can do the post test. You can start with the post test right now, okay? Hey guys, thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.